I reminisce about the love we had. I reminisce about the love we had. Tender moments seem to go so fast. Reminisce, reminisce. I reminisce about the love we had. I reminisce about the love we had. A love so strong it will never pass.
Love Park Connection.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
How you guys doing today?
Hope y'all doing well today.
Yes, exactly. So we have another interesting topic that Pierre wanted to talk about. He thought this would be good for the gentleman.
Yes.
So I'll be asking most of the questions.
Yes.
So what did we title this one, baby?
How can we say it? Is being a gentleman and a lost art?
Exactly.
That's what is being a gentleman a lost art? That's
Yes.
what we'll say. Okay.
Okay, that's what we
just,
go.
clear up the.
Clear it up.
Clear it up.
Okay, so that's what it is. Is being a gentleman a lost art?
Yeah.
And so that's a good topic because it seems like, at least when you look at social media and all the craziness going on there, it does seem like it's a lost art. So
It does.
we're going to get right into it. But before we get started, let us introduce ourselves. Welcome to Love Park Connection, where we talk about the pains and pleasures of life, love, and relationships. My name is Angela Parker.
And I'm Pierre Parker.
We are a husband and wife marriage and relationship coaching duo. We've been married for 27 years, together for over 30 years, and it is our goal to help Black couples communicate more, love more, and build healthy, long-term relationships. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and we're going to get started.
Mm-hmm.
All right, baby. So first of all, what is, and I don't have it to be the Webster's dictionary, what is your definition of a gentleman?
My definition of a gentleman is a man who respects his woman, a man who looks out for his woman, a man who protects his woman, a man who has no problem with doing the old school stuff of opening doors for a woman, whatever it takes, handing you his jacket if it's raining, if it's cold,
Walking on the, like you do for me, you walk on the outside of the outside of the street or outside of the sidewalk.
Yes, sidewalk. That's right.
Because you sure will make me move over and I always know when you want me to move because you kind of push my waist and you push me over to the side.
A little pat.
Yeah, right. Okay, so what are some of the ways you think men are lacking in that area?
I think one of the biggest ways is just the respect. Men just don't respect. Well, I'm not even going to say men. Let me stop it. Boys, when you ain't respecting a woman, the way that you should be, I can't call you a man.
Okay.
So, boys, 52-year-old boys, 62-year-old boys.
Right. So it's not the age, it's the mentality.
It's the mentality.
Okay.
Yeah, when you just not respecting them, women, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
You out there calling them out their names. Now, granted, there's a lot of women out there that, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but kind of put themselves in that position as well to not be treated that way. You want to be. Some of them don't have a problem with being treated wrongly. I guess that's how you want to say it.
Yeah.
If you want to put it wrongly.
Yeah.
But for the most part, women deserve to be respected,
right.
and the same thing with men as well.
Right.
But I'm speaking to the fellas right now. We have to respect these women. We have to respect them, especially our Black women. Right now, it's a it's like a war against the black woman right now.
Yeah.
And we really need to respect them. We really need to protect them, you know, put them on a pedestal, you know. We need to do all of that stuff. And I don't think a lot of these guys are doing that.
Okay. What are you seeing? Okay, you did say the disrespect and so forth. Because I've also noticed that we have a tendency to believe white women more than we'll believe black women in certain arenas.
Yeah.
In certain areas and certain things. And, you know, not to say that, you know, there aren't women out there, black women out there who are, you know, saying things that they shouldn't be saying or doing things they shouldn't be doing. But we're so quick to justify and defend how white women, you know, especially if they're perceived as being disrespected. And we need to definitely defend and protect black women even more. And that comes with, it starts with our men.
It does. It very much so starts with our men. We're the only ones that really would, you know, that need to be protecting our black women.
Exactly.
I mean, not saying that nobody else can protect them, but I'm saying.
But no, it starts with us. It starts in the community. It starts in the home.
Any other community, you know, Latino, all of these Asian community protect their women.
Right.
You know, why can't we protect ours?
Exactly. So how would you? So. In showing, you know, the gentleman side and doing the gentlemanly things, what are some areas? Give us some examples of, you know, how you protect me. What are some of the things that you do to show me that you're my protector, that you are, I'll say, quote, my knight in shining armor. So what are some of the things that you show me, and how did that impact our children as they were growing up?
Well, just some of the things, you know, I made sure that, you know, you didn't have to, I try to, you know, keep gas in your car so you don't necessarily have to go put gas in your car late at night or something like that. Or when you come home, if you go grocery shopping, you never have to worry about taking the groceries out of the car if I'm at home, you know, because I'm going out to go take the groceries out. I'm washing your car, you know, things like that. I'm coming in and seeing how you feel. If you're not feeling well, then I'm nursing you. I become the nurse.
One thing I like, sorry to interrupt, but one thing I do like that I felt really protected is like if I come home late at night, you'll open the gate so I don't have to get out of my car late at night. You will make sure that I get in the house and lock it. You stay up and lock everything up. So there are things that you do that I take for granted because you've always done them, and I don't feel that I have to do that. So to me, that goes along with just being the gentleman, being the protector, being, you know, I'll say the man of the house.
Yeah, I mean that's like the one thing you just said is, you know, locking up. That's my job to me.
Right.
I have to go around at the end of the night. I go around and make sure all the doors are locked.
Right.
I make sure the windows are closed and all of these different things. I'm looking out the windows, making sure everything's cool and all that stuff.
So I've been calling you sometimes I call you.
She called me the nosy neighbor. Why you all in everybody's business? Hey, I'm trying to make sure our stuff is cool. You don't worry about me. Just go on in the room and watch your little Modern Family and quit tripping. I'll be in there in a little while. Let me handle my business.
So how do you think that impacted our kids? I mean, because we have a son and a daughter.
Yeah.
So how do you think that impacted them, seeing you treat me, you know, in this particular way?
I mean, that's a good question because I really don't know. I mean, I really don't know. Our kids be all quiet and secretive about stuff. They don't want to be letting us know nothing.
But okay, then I'll answer that. I think that, at least for our daughter, it showed her what, a father figure does. Yeah. So she doesn't know any different, really, because that's what she grew up with. And so whomever she's with, there's going to be certain things that she, I think, would expect from a guy, whether even if it's just her friend, there might be certain things that she expects or how a guy should act around her. Whether it's, not being disrespectful in the way he speaks to her, how he handles himself when he's around her. And as our son, as for our son, I've noticed how, at least how he interacts with me, because you've put him in check plenty of times.
Yes.
This is not how you treat women. This is not how you, interact with women. And they, of course, have to find their own way, even though we might have instilled that in them and what they saw in the house. They still have to figure it out themselves. You could be the greatest parent, but they still have to figure it out themselves. But at least they have that foundation to know what you did for me and how you treated me as your wife.
Yeah, and it all came from my dad. My dad did the same stuff. I remember watching him. When I was young and I was living in Pops' house, because Pops and my mom, my biological mom, were separated, divorced. But I remember being at his house when I was living with him, and he'd do the same thing. He'd go around, he'd lock everything at night. He'd do all of the same stuff.
Right.
So I got it honestly from him.
Right.
And I'd watch him do the same type of stuff. He was taking my stepmom's car, and doing all the things that I was saying. He'd gas it up, and, he'd stay up if she was out late at night working or something. He came home, and he'd stay up until she came home. Yeah. So it's just, I see myself doing the same exact thing, and I didn't even realize it until just, a number of years ago that I was doing the same thing, following his footsteps. So
another thing, when I think of a gentleman, is how he speaks. Not just to his wife or his woman, which, that of course that is important too, but how he speaks to other people. How do you think that impacts? How do you think that impacts being a gentleman? How you interact with other people?
Well, I think
the humility and...
Well, I think that goes a long way. I mean, yes. I mean, I look at it like this. Yes, you want to be as much of a gentleman as you can with your wife or your loved one or your girlfriend of in a long-term relationship or in a relationship, whatever, in a short-term relationship, whatever. You want to be as much of a gentleman basically with anybody. If I'm out talking to a young lady from work or somewhere, I'm still going to be a gentleman.
Okay.
It doesn't stop just here. Once I walk out and once I leave out of the house, the gentleman don't stay here. The gentleman goes with you.
What about talking to other men, though?
Talking to other men? Yeah. I mean, we got a way of talking with other
right, but you're, of course, but it's still...
Man, let me wash your car for you, bro.
I know that. Nah. I'm just talking about it carries over because how you speak, because I see you, how you interact with even your musician friends.
Yeah.
You guys, you have your way of talking. You guys talk, you talk your talk.
Yeah.
But you're also respectful. And to me, that's part of being a gentleman, is just the respect. And that respect extends out beyond just your wife and, your family members.
It does. The gentleman part of it should be a big part of your character. That should be a big part of your character.
Yeah.
If you can't be a gentleman, I mean, But first of all, you should be a gentleman. First of all, like I said, with your wife, your girlfriend or whatever, your daughters, because your daughters are watching you.
Yeah.
You should be a gentleman as far as also with your son, so he can see it and know what to do.
Right.
And then when I go out and I'm I'm talking to other people,
right.
like you always say, you represent me. You go out there.
That's right.
You represent me. So see how she do?
I don't talk like that.
Yeah,
Stop.
she do. That's how you sound.
That's what you hear.
Me.
Huh?
That's what I hear. That's how your voice sound to me. But yeah, I'm representing you. So when I go out, and I be a gentleman and I help someone else, it's a young lady or something, she needs some help carrying some bags or something,
right,
picking something up or whatever. That's a reflection on you too, as well. So some people will probably be like, why you helping another woman? But
you've got to figure out some other, tones in your voice when you represent.
That's how they sound.
When you talk, boy, I tell you.
That's how they sound. But no, that's how we are. That's how you should be. You should be. That's part of being a gentleman.
Exactly.
And I honestly believe that that's a lost art. This social media stuff and all of this, the stuff that they're pushing.
Right.
That they're pushing for our young men to watch. This could be a whole nother. Here we go again. This could be a whole nother podcast of mine. Look, my conspiracies, but that's by design. These guys have to understand that they want you to be that way. They want you to continue to be the not gentlemen, the non-gentlemen, the ones that are, being disrespectful to our women, being disrespectful to other people. They want that. Yeah. Because they fear a smart, intelligent black man. Oh yeah. So we have to understand that. And to me, it starts with the gentleman thing. That's where it starts. Right.
But see, but let's be clear. Being a gentleman doesn't mean you're being a punk. Exactly. You just, you can still be a gentleman, but still make sure that you handle your business. You protect. You do all those things that need to be done. Exactly. So that doesn't mean that being a gentleman means that you're a punk, because some of the most fierce gentlemen,
there's none,
fierce people are gentlemen.
You be a gentleman until it's time to not be a gentleman. Exactly. And a lot of times that's another thing that these youngsters don't understand. I'm getting into other things, but these youngsters have to understand that you can't take people for granted. You never judge a book by its cover. I've had to tell young guys plenty of times at my job and stuff like this. They'd always be like, man, I'm a gangster, man. I'm a gangster. And I had to tell them, dude, you're not a gangster. I said, if you was a gangster, I said, first of all, there are plenty gangsters out here. You would never know they're a gangster. Right. Gangsters don't go around saying they're gangsters. The only way you find out that somebody's a gangster is when your family lets people know that such and such was a gangster, because that person, you ain't there no more. That person, that gangster then took care of you. Right. And made you disappear, or somebody disappear. But you never know. Right. Gangsters just don't go around saying I'm a gangster. Right. So I've had to, educate some of these young guys on that type of stuff. Right. But like I said, that's getting into a whole nother discussion. Right. No, but you're right. I'd love to get into one day. Yeah. But guys have to understand that just being a gentleman and being respectful of other people, especially our women, does not make you weak at all. Right. So, like I said, there's some bad gentlemen out there that'll beat your ass. Right. Yeah. So, I think also being a gentleman, and you're really good with this, is also being a good listener. Yeah. Sometimes just sitting there and listening, and trying to hear or hearing what I'm saying, without overreacting, without trying to, no, you wrong, I'm right. So that's also important, is just, being a gentleman means sometimes you just shut your mouth and listen. Exactly. I used to sit all the time. Not only did my dad always tell me a lot of stuff, you know, of course, when it being your dad, sometimes your dad, you don't want to hear all the stuff your dad, because they just be rambling and stuff. But, you know, I would listen to some things. But honestly, when I was younger, I actually would go and I would sit down with a lot of older guys, gentlemen, older men, and just listen to the stuff that they would tell me. You know, they talk about life, things, and how to treat people and different things like that.
Right.
And I would do that quite a bit. And I learned a lot of stuff from sitting with these guys. Nowadays, that's an lost art.
Nobody wants to sit and listen because and that's another thing. Everybody wants these quick bites of information, but you cannot have quick bites of information because you're not getting all of the information.
No. And you can't the TikTok generation, they cannot get this type of teaching. They have to be reprogrammed. The TikTok generation, this whole Generation X, they need to be Generation Z. I'm sorry,
because we're X.
Yeah, no. Oops. Generation Z, the TikTok generation. That's what I'll call it. They have to be reprogrammed,
right?
Because their attention span is 3 seconds long. You know, and it's like, how you gonna give any type of information,
right,
worthwhile
within
information?
in 3 seconds.
In 3 seconds,
and then retain that information and then use it.
Exactly.
That's the other part of it. Using what you've learned, but again, what they're learning on the social media platforms. Is I mean, it seems like it's getting worse. The information out there is getting worse.
And like I said, it doesn't help when you see the women on there on these TikTok things that's just looking out of control.
Yeah.
And then you sit there, you go, it's hard to be a gentleman to this right here on TikTok right here when she really don't have no respect for herself.
Right. But that's what they're pushing now.
Oh, I know. That's what
I don't think a majority, I'm being optimistic. I don't think a majority of our black women are doing what we see on TikTok. I think that's what they're pushing.
I'm sure that's what they're pushing.
You know,
just like they're pushing the dumb black guys doing dumb stuff.
Right.
You know.
Right. Right.
Yeah, it's a lot more intelligent young people out there.
They're not pushing information like ours.
No.
They're not pushing stuff like ours.
They're not.
But you know, hey, it is what it is. The information that we give, you know, the right people will hear it at the right time. So that's the way you got to look at it.
And you know, the cool thing about the whole gentleman thing is, you know, you have guys that a lot of times would try to be gentlemen at a young age, and they get discouraged by women because women don't want that. They want the bad boy.
Yeah, at that young age, you do. No, because I mean, hey, when you first started trying to get with me,
I know you didn't want.
I didn't want to have nothing to do because you weren't.
Nope, I'm going over here to Kiki, you know, and such a whatever his name. Gosh. I don't know, whatever.
Anyway,
you was going over there with him with the loud music in the car and all that stuff, and drinking the 40 ounces. And
anyway, then as we get older. Most of us are like, you know what, that's not the direction I want to go, because you can't make a life with that.
But by that time, you didn't took the dude that was trying to be a gentleman and nice, and you didn't messed his head up. So now he like, screw all them women.
You're right. His attitude changes. Yeah,
his attitude changes.
No, you're right. So there has to be some reprogramming with young girls too. That the bad boys look like fun. They look like they could be fun, but in the long run, it's not worth the heartache or the headache. No, it's not worth the drama.
Yeah, not worth the drama.
No, it's not. So another thing that I think is interesting, and again, I use you as an example because, I mean, hey, we've been together forever, so you are, to me, the epitome of a gentleman. And you've grown over time. So one thing I do I do like is when you compliment me. You pay attention to, you don't always pay attention to every little detail, but there's some things that, you pay attention to that are small details that, I think that's really sweet when you give me your compliments. You always tell me, I love that you don't wear a lot of makeup and, like you told me today, which I was like, okay, babe, you look beautiful when you wake up in the morning. I'm thinking, okay, babe, I'll take the compliment, but
See, I'm talking the compliments you do.
Are you simping, baby?
I'm simping. I don't care, whatever. I done told you that one. I'll be a simp. I don't care.
So what do you think about those things? I mean, the compliments you had.
Well, I think that, yes, that's a part of being a gentleman. That's part of being real. If you see that, especially if you see your woman and she's working hard to, try to keep herself together and, because, there's a lot of women that just let it go, but there's, if your woman is working hard and she's doing the best she can, and that doesn't mean that and that's another thing we have to understand. That don't mean she's doing it for us. She's doing it for her.
Definitely.
But that doesn't mean that we can't compliment it.
Right.
Because a lot of times that helps her to keep going. And if you notice it, say it.
Right.
Say, man, I love how what you're wearing. I love what you got on, or, when you get up and I always tell you, hi, beautiful,
Yeah.
Give those little things like that. That helps a woman's esteem.
Self-esteem.
Self-esteem. It's so many things nowadays that's tearing women down.
Yeah.
So
and
we're
so many
supposed to be there to help lift up your self-esteem.
Right. And also we're competing, and especially when you're younger, as you get a little older, it's not as big of a deal, but you're also competing with what you see on social media, which, as we know, half the time is not real. Just like they used to airbrush in the 80s, airbrush all these,
now you got the
covers
apps that do all that stuff.
Right, now you got the apps to do it. So you have a lot of women who are trying to live up to that false expectation. So when your man gives you a compliment and it's coming from the heart, then that's very much of, something that we should appreciate as the women. As the wives and so forth. So what about, and we all, before I ask this question, I know we all get upset, we all get angry about certain things, but how does that play into, in your opinion, being a gentleman? Because we've had our arguments, and you've gotten angry, but you were never disrespectful to me in what you said. You might have just left, you might have talked to your sisters about it, but you never were disrespectful in how you talked to me, even in anger. Yeah.
That's one thing I've always been told, you don't let your anger get the best of you, Don't put your hands on them. I don't put my hands on you.
You definitely, you've never done that. No.
And, I'm the biggest advocate against that.
Right.
Did I say that right? The biggest advocate against it. That's right?
I guess. You know what you're saying.
I'm just trying to make sure
you're not down for men putting their hands on women.
By no means.
No.
By no means.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this. If a woman hits you, it's open season. I will say that, ladies. Because nowadays, these women nowadays can fight.
Yeah, that's true. So basically, ladies, don't put your hand on the men. And men, don't put your hands on the women. If it gets to that point, y'all need to go in separate corners.
You gotta go somewhere.
Because, I'm not an advocate for, women who are sitting there and they feel that they can just, be beating up on men and hitting them and smush facing them. Right, and smush facing them and all that. Because we've talked about this briefly before in one of our podcasts. Yeah. And then women expect men not to put their hands on them. Because no, just don't put your hands on a man, period.
Yep.
period. Yeah, if you're trying to defend yourself,
That's different.
that's different. But don't start no one be none.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Exactly.
But it's just a matter of respect on both ends. And again, being a gentleman, it goes into that. If you're truly trying to be a gentleman, you will not put your hands on a woman.
No.
You will not disrespect her.
And what you're going to do is, if you get mad and you get that mad, you walk away.
You walk away.
And like we said before, women, if he walks away,
Let him go.
let him go. Don't follow him and talking to him and poking the bear.
Right, just let him
Just
go.
let him go.
Let him
Let him
be.
calm
right.
down
He's
and-
trying to be a gentleman.
Exactly.
He's trying to be a gentleman.
So,
What do you think? Because I'm looking at, because I wanted to find some ideas, for what other people would say what a gentleman is. So there was this one, never ask her to take care of you. So it is your duty to take care of her, and never ask her to buy anything for you. Never ask her to pay for the drink or food when you're out on a date, unless it's entirely of her own violation. I probably pronounced that incorrectly. So,
I pretty much agree with that when you're dating. But I also say, that in today's times, it's different.
yeah.
Now you have women that, that make good money.
Yeah, and sometimes maybe making double what the man's making.
Exactly. So, and I've said this to my sisters and stuff before. It's like, don't be afraid to be like, hey, I got the drinks today. You pay for the food. I'll pay for the drinks.
Right.
Or like you said
sometimes
before,
them drinks can be more than the food.
Yeah, or flip it then. I'll pay for the appetizers.
Shoot, appetizers are expensive. Anyway, but yeah.
But yeah, I've always tried to tell them, don't be afraid to, or don't think that, the man don't get it in your head that he just has to pay for everything.
Right. So you think that, while it's nice in theory,
Yeah.
that a man pays for everything, that should not be the expectation, and that does not make him less of a gentleman.
Not at all.
Not at all. No, I agree. Let's see. Well, those were actually. There was one, always be punctual. I guess, like I said, I'm just looking at stuff that I was just kind of get some ideas of what other people think are what constitute a gentleman to other folks.
But the punctuality thing, yes, you want them to be punctual. You want to be as punctual as possible, but
that don't make you less of a
that don't make you less of a gentleman.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, what would mess up you being a gentleman is if you're not calling and letting that person know that you're running late.
A
gentleman would call or text or use the pager. Call a
pager.
Call a payphone.
Call what? Get her beeper number.
But a gentleman would let the young lady or whoever know that they're running late.
Right.
A gentleman just don't leave them hanging.
Right.
So that's by no means a gentleman.
I agree.
That's being disrespectful.
So what wise words of wisdom would you give
to young brothers?
To young brothers and even young ladies.
And young ladies. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, this segment was supposed to be mainly for the young brothers.
And it has been.
But young ladies can get something out of this.
Right.
But I would let young brothers know that being a gentleman, the bottom line about being a gentleman is respect. That's basically the main thing. Mm-hmm. It's respect. Respect the woman. Mm-hmm. Respect your woman.
Yeah.
If you're married, respect your wife.
Right.
Just because you did all that shit in the beginning,
right,
does not mean that it stops. Mm-hmm. Once you put the ring on. You still be a gentleman.
Right.
Being a gentleman is a lifetime commitment.
I like that.
I know. I just made that up.
Come on, baby.
I'm off the hook. Yes, but honestly, being a gentleman is a lifetime commitment.
Yeah.
Respect. lifetime commitment.
Okay.
So we have to, as men, we have to understand that and realize that,
Okay.
you know.
And for the ladies?
And for the ladies, well, you just heard me say all the things that make a man a gentleman. Mm-hmm. So write them, go back, listen to this again.
Right.
And write them all down.
Right.
And take that as your little note thing and your little check off.
Right. Right.
Your check off thing when you get with a guy and see if he's doing any of these things.
Right.
You know. So if he's not doing all of them, that don't necessarily mean he have to do all of them.
Right.
But at least some of them.
At least showing that he has potential to be a gentleman. Because sometimes, I mean, like I said in the beginning, you didn't have all, because you were learning. You didn't have all the knowledge and wisdom that you had now. Mm-hmm. It came over time.
It did.
So okay.
Yes.
So
like
if you
I said, we don't have the youngsters listening to the
OGs.
OGs anymore. They don't.
Right.
A lot of them don't. I'm not saying all of them don't.
No.
But you know, a lot of them don't have that father figure, or
their attitude is, oh man, you just being a simp. You ain't being hard. That ain't hard. That ain't what a man is.
Yep.
And it's like, that's exactly what a man is. A real man.
Exactly.
You know, this is exactly what he does. And
then you have the other side where you have society coming down on the father that is trying to teach his sons these type of things.
Right.
You know, a lot of people turn around and say, well, you know, that's that masculinity stuff, you know.
That toxic.
That toxic, it's like, no, teaching respect is not toxic masculinity.
Right.
You know, we're just, that's not what it is.
Right,
you know, but they're coming down on it. And that's where it starts, is from a father teaching his son.
Right.
Like I said, I learned from my dad.
Right.
You know,
or if there's not a father figure, or if there's not a father in the home, you know, older brother or uncle or grandfather or somebody, hopefully, you know, helping these young men.
Exactly.
Learn to be respectful.
Yeah. Actually, my neighbor next door, look, I'm going to put you on Front Street, but my neighbor, he does an excellent job with his sons.
Yeah, he does.
Excellent.
He does.
Their mom, too.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but as far as a father with his sons, he does an excellent job. And I try to tell him as much as I can, man, I'm so proud of you, dude.
Yeah.
He's a younger guy. He's younger than me. He has 2 young sons. Mm-hmm. And
they're the best kids.
They're the best kids. That's my nephews. They're my nephews. They are just a joy every time I see them.
Yeah.
They just so polite. They're doing an excellent job with him.
Yeah.
And he, as a father, is doing an excellent job.
Yeah.
I'm going to put him on, should I say his name? Put him on Front Street?
I don't care.
Tavares Nichols.
Tavares. Do you say Tavares?
I said Tavares. Maybe my big lip got in the way.
Maybe.
Tavares Nichols. He is doing an excellent job with his kids.
Yeah.
And I try to tell him every time I see him, when I can, that he is. Yeah. Because as a father, we need to know that we're doing the right thing with our sons.
Exactly.
And it's good to hear that. So anytime I can let him know, I'm going to let him know.
Yeah, so, definitely.
And that's not throwing shade on his wife, Portia. She's doing an excellent job as a mother.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So it's a team thing.
It is, exactly. It's a team effort. Yeah. So anything else you want to say before we head on out?
Yeah, my young brothers, respect the woman. I know I probably already said that like 3 or 4 times, but
then you repetition. You need, that's how you learn. Repetition.
Respect our black women.
Yes, definitely.
Respect women in general. I'm not just saying our black women, but we got to respect women in general. But there is an attack right now on black women.
Yes.
So we got to make sure we cherish them.
Definitely.
So that's what I would say. Stop watching all this TikTok stuff and stop listening to all this crazy
bullshit.
Just rap, some of this rap shit. I ain't talking about all rap because it's some that's cool, but it's a lot of it that's allowing and
and pushing that negative narrative. Right. Exactly.
And we don't need that.
No.
We don't need that at all.
No.
We gotta, we got a lot of smart black young men that they're terrified of, that the world is terrified of. So be the excellent young men that you can be.
Right.
Don't be what they want you to be.
Right. And be that gentleman. Exactly.
Be that gentleman.
All right, everybody. So thank you again, babe. I appreciate my gentleman.
That's right.
I'm always by my side.
That's right. I got your back, girl.
I know you do. I know you do. So thank you guys again for joining us. Please, please, please remember to like, share, and subscribe.
Yep.
We are, we're still continuing to build our channel. Please, if you want more information about my book coming out, 30 Years and Counting, which we're scheduled to release December 9th, please go to our website at loveparkconnection.com. The information will be in the notes as well. Sign up for our email list so you'll get more information on, our coaching, online coaching, and again, my book, 30 Years and Counting, at, again, loveparkconnection.com.
Yep.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye-bye.